South Boston, Virginia is an agricultural community that loves its racing. South Boston Speedway, which opened in 1957, is a legendary short track where today NASCAR's future stars are battling not once, but twice. One race is in the books already here at South Boston, Virginia. 100-lapper and Tanner Gray in the 15 looked to be the dominant car even after taking out Ruben Garcia Jr. Drew Dollar got walled here at South Boston. Heavy damage to his car and a tremendous battle and a green-white checker finish between the 21 of Sam Mayer, Cabry in that 4, and the 15 of Tanner Gray, who went on to claim his first NASCAR victory. He takes race number 1, and the former drag racing pro stock champion will be ready to go here in race number 2. The HoosierDriver.org Twin 100s, South Boston Speedway for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. I'm Ralph Sheen alongside Landon Castle and Derek Perniciglio. The sun is set, the lights are on, and we're about to fire the engines, Landon.
I think we'll see some sparks tonight based on the race we saw earlier today.
Big challenges, thunderstorms looming off in the distance. So where is South Boston Speedway? Well, it's just over the Virginia line from North Carolina, about 111 miles south. Another famous racetrack in Richmond, Virginia.
A lot of good short track racing in Virginia. You know, we're just a couple hours from Richmond here, not far from Martinsville.
Here's the updated point standings after 3 races, and a seething Sam Mayer sees himself 11 up on Derek Krause. And I say seething because he thought he had that first race won.
Yeah, he took the green-white checkered in the lead and did not get the checkered. And he was pretty upset after that race. Wasn't even thinking about his points lead. He wants to win this second race of our doubleheader.
Let's go downstairs to Derek Perniciglio, who's with a man who took a unique approach to race number 1.
Well, the goal for Nick Sanchez in the first race was cut a fast lap, and it looks like he did just that. You've got the pole for race number 2. How excited are you?
I'm pretty excited. I'm just hoping our car holds on. I know we tuned on it quite a bit, so it should be a fun one.
With limited experience in this series, is there any kind of plan or strategy going into this?
No, just drive like how I normally drive my late model, just let her eat.
Nick Sanchez hoping for a good run tonight in his K&N debut.
Well, we'll see if using that first race as more of a qualifying and practice session pays off here in race 2.
Yeah, I mean, his limited experience in the K&N Pro Series, putting him on the front row, is going to be a little sketchy. And also, the other drivers have way more laps in race trim at this track from earlier today, where he was more focused on qualifying. He's several years from now.
Spotters getting ready. In fact, this is where the Burton brothers, Ward and Jeff, began their legendary NASCAR careers here at South Boston. K&N Pro Series Racing and NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. This one about to get underway as the cars roll out onto the racetrack. Boy, look at those clouds. There is rain out there. It's a matter of when does it get here.
See a couple flashes off in the distance. The teams and drivers were anticipating some rain in the first race, and it didn't come, but it seems to be on its way right now.
Before we go green, let's get some comments from Derek.
Well, we had a pretty wild first 100-lap race here in the Twin 100s at South Boston, but now let's set up some storylines for the second 100 laps. Nick Sanchez, his first time in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series, wanted to cut a fast lap in the first race. He did that, puts him on the pole for the very first time. Sam Mayer got moved out of the way by Tanner Gray on the last lap. He's looking for redemption in race number 2. Don't count out Max McLaughlin, the rookie coming into this sport from dirt experience, finished 3rd in the first race, hoping to improve in the second race coming up. And of course, we're all keeping an eye on Hailie Deegan. She had problems in the first race, came from the rear, moved as high as the top 10, but then had problems late in the race. We're going to see if she can bounce back in race number 2 tonight.
Yeah, Hailie Deegan, the winner out in Las Vegas on the dirt. There is Tanner Gray in that 15, the winner of race number 1, and Mayer right behind him. And I think the point there with Sam is, can he keep all that aggression in check long enough to get to the checkers?
Well, I would love to say yes, but based on how he was feeling after that race, I don't think he wants to keep his aggression in check. I think he wants to go after it, go get the win, And if that's how he wants to do it, he's just got to keep the fenders on it. That's the number one priority to make that happen.
We already talked about some of the cars in the top. How about Drew Dollar, too, inside row number 2? He went right into the wall, so he's in that backup, like you said, yeah.
Yep, and Haley Deegan starting inside of row 6 there. She had a little bit of speed, made some progress midway through the race, then fell back at the end of the last one. But I'm thinking the track being darker at night, the balance is going to shift a little bit. Those cars are probably going to be a little bit tighter. Those drivers and crew chiefs are going to have to adjust with some air pressure and track bar adjustments to catch up with the racetrack.
Here they come. There's a green.
Good start for Tanner Gray. Looks like he might have beat the leader to the start-finish line. In the top 3 NASCAR series, that is legal, but here in the K&N Pro Series, it is not. And there's the black flag on Tanner Gray.
Yeah, and we saw some coming together and wiggling around going on behind him, and Gray right up along the wall there. And Sam Mayer looking to get his revenge quickly as he's coming around the outside here. We see some dust as they go up and along the wall, and Sam Mayer has brushed the wall. Was he just driving too aggressive off of 4?
Looks like his left front tire is down. Might have been from some contact as well. That contact right there looks like it would have cut his left front tire and pinned him up against the wall there from the number 2.
Welcome back to South Boston, Virginia. The number 2, Sanchez, took a unique approach to getting into this race, and he's leading it right now.
The first 10 laps of the race, we've pretty much eliminated the 2 most likely competitors to win this thing, Tanner Gray and Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer with contact and a flat tire, Tanner Gray with a penalty.
Here's the number 30. That's the car, Spencer Davis holding off Derek Krause. They're fighting over 4th. Nick Sanchez, if you're just joining us, the race leader. He used basically race number 1 of this doubleheader as a practice and qualifying approach. Ran the fastest lap in that race, and that gave him the pole for the nighttime edition. Haley Deegan in the 19. She finished just on the back end of the top 10 in race number 1, and here she's fighting with the 18 of Colin Garrett. That's for 6th.
You see the track's got a little more grip than it did earlier today. The car slid around a lot more. The car, you can tell early in the race, tires are colder, fresher, more grip. Track's cooler, there's more grip. Just a little more stuck to the racetrack. Doesn't mean a little rooting and gouging won't unstick them from the track, but at nighttime the speeds definitely pick up.
Well, we certainly saw a lot of that in the daytime version of the Twin 100s. And then number 4 was a part of it too. Chase Cabry fighting here with Max McLaughlin.
Chase had a lot of speed early on in the first race as well. Just peeking to the outside. That'd be a good move if you could just get to the outside. But that crossover move right there that Cabry's making is a good way to get some momentum and complete a pass.
Oh, caution is out, and Garrett is around.
Contact.
Colin Garrett, who was racing with Haley Deegan. Lots of damage to the front. Yeah, look at that. And here comes the window net. That's a good sign, signifying he's okay.
He's going to be done for the night.
See what happened here.
Well, there's the rooting and gouging that we were talking about.
It's like Haley just got into the back of him.
Yeah, and she kind of had to save herself and just kind of keep driving through them. But it's tough with these tracks with an inside wall. South Boston is definitely known for chewing up some cars on the front stretch here.
Well, he came back onto the racetrack and almost caught Haley and a couple of others.
Drew Dollar just slid by, and you could see Colin Garrett just head down and disappointed. He's probably not too happy with Haley.
Asking why.
Use your
head. He says. And I guess meaning basically too early in the race for something like that, in his opinion.
Always seems like just the best time to send a message right after you get wrecked. Give the driver your signals and move on.
Well, he began his career right here at South Boston, and this won't be one of his better memories of racing here.
I don't know if this caution might have let the skies kind of open up, but I could see some raindrops.
Oh, yeah.
In the lights here out of the booth. You could see some raindrops on the windshield of the safety vehicles as Colin Garrett climbs to the back of.
Well, we knew it was out there, and hopefully, we were hoping that with just being 100 laps, this one might move pretty quick.
Yeah, and sometimes the cars, a little rain doesn't hurt. As long as you keep the cars moving and the track going, keep some heat in the track, a light rain shower is okay. The cars will actually keep the track dry, but if it gets any worse, like the forecast is showing, then you're gonna have to stop the field.
Well, let's hear from Colin, who Derek has caught up with.
Well, Colin Garrett unfortunately finds his night ending early in the number 18 machine. We saw you turn sideways on the front stretch. Can you tell us what happened?
I don't know. I mean, we're racing for position there pretty hard.
Keep the track dry with the amount of moisture that's already there and more coming.
You can see the rain is starting to come down, and we're not to halfway yet, which would make the race official. So that does mean that NASCAR is obligated to get the track dry and get the rest of this race in.
And get the fans of safety, too, because as you mentioned earlier, there was some lightning in the area. So you have to think about not just the condition of the racing surface, but the safety of everybody here. Yeah, and it's coming down pretty good.
Wind picking up. It's raining, Ralph.
Snapping the flags. We're going to step out to break. We'll have more from South Boston after this. Well, it rained really hard after we went to commercial break. Last night here at South Boston, the cars are covered. Drivers got out, and the race was postponed to today. Everybody made their way back into the racetrack, hoping to finish this one under bright sunshine. As we get set to go racing, here's Derek Perniciglio.
Well, the skies are cleared, and it's a brand new day here at the South Boston Speedway, and we're ready to roll. But there's been a bit of a change in the field because some drivers had other commitments elsewhere. Haley Deegan won't start this race because she had a sponsorship commitment she had to fly back to Los Angeles for. Ruben Garcia had to go race a NASCAR Peak Mexico Series race because he's battling for the points championship down there. So Colin Garrett will hop in the seat of the number 6 car this afternoon. As far as other changes to the race cars, NASCAR let the crews make post-qualifying adjustments just like they regularly would, with some external shock changes to the cars as well. That was about it as far as the adjustments go. And one final driver change, Kyle Benjamin, who has been a winner in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series, will now hop in the 21 car of Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer had to fly home and take care of a family commitment.
Well, while those drivers get ready to go racing, let's take you back in the day to the first ever NASCAR Truck Series event here at South Boston. Remember some of these names and numbers? That's Jack Sprague in the 24. Ted Musgrave chasing him there. Watch this. Ricky Sanders refires his truck under caution and goes right into the leader. Ouch. Crushed Sprague's hopes of a win.
Kyle Busch.
How about that? 4th career Truck Series start, and he got up into the wall.
He couldn't have been 16 or 17 years old in that race.
A lot of stuff in front of him, and in front of Ted Musgrave was a checkered flag and a win and the manufacturer's championship for Dodge that evening here at South Boston. Well,
that was good racing back then.
It was, wasn't it? Getting ready to go here now. And the sun is bright, the cars are ready to go, and Nick Sanchez is back up on the pole as we've documented how he approached this race. Race number 1, which was yesterday afternoon, they looked at it as basically a qualifying run. So he just taped the car up, went for the fastest lap to guarantee the spot at the front for race number 2, which now is about to go back to green.
And they're still on the same tires as last night, so you see a little bit of wheel spin, but a great start for Max McLaughlin.
Look at him on the outside as we get back at it here on lap 26. McLaughlin to the lead in the black number 1. And he was top 3 in the first race.
That's right, and the teams and drivers were able to make some light adjustments to their cars, so they're definitely going to compensate for the sun being out today, a little bit warmer than it was last night.
Looks like the Bill McNally team got the Napa 16 running pretty good as Krause goes around the outside of Sanchez for second, and now Chase Cabry sizing him up as well in the 4. Oh, and look at Davis in the 30.
Drivers are not holding back here, refiring with almost 70 laps to go.
Quarter of the race now in the books, scheduled just for 100 laps here.
It's hard as a driver to get in the race, get in a rhythm, get in a focus on what your car's feeling like, and then have to sleep on it overnight and restart from with the same tires, different track conditions. It can definitely, it can be a recipe for some mistakes and a different dynamic for sure.
One car working the outside fairly well is Travis Milburn in the 08. He's got 6th place right now in that Kart Idaho-backed machine.
Tough competition for him with Drew Dollar, though, who had a lot of speed in our first race. But this is a backup car for him. He got tore up towards the end and was a part of the last caution that actually helped his team. Sam Mayer's car, Kyle Benjamin, driving that 21.
Colin Mayer is in the race, though, but just in a different ride after he got knocked out yesterday, right before the red flag came out. So he was battling with Haley Deegan. And you saw the 30 of Davis getting right up into the 2 of Sanchez there, but Nick controlling it and keeping it on the racetrack.
Spencer's got a lot of experience, but he's just been kind of steady this weekend in this doubleheader. For him to move up to 4th, kind of driving away well from Sanchez. Got his sights set on Cabry.
Back up here, Dollar and Gray. Gray, the reigning NHRA Pro Stock champion.
You can definitely see how hard Tanner Gray is pushing his car. And that's about how he was driving it yesterday in the first race of our doubleheader weekend here. He's been hard on the brakes. You've seen a lot of brake glowing. His teammate Drew's been a little bit smoother, but hasn't had the speed.
Well, he led the first 80 laps yesterday, and then those brakes caught him, and Sam Mayer reeled him in and got around him as Gray wasn't able to hold that lower line.
Mayer showed more speed on the long runs.
And then a green-white checker cost Mayer and put Gray in the victory.
Yep.
And we're going to go to break real quick, but we'll come back for more of this great action with the K&N Series after this.
Hi, I'm Justin Carroll, driver of the number 91 Toyota Camry K&N East Series. I got my start racing in U-Cars at Langley Speedway. Been racing late models 5-6 years now. Been doing fairly well in that. Ran 6 or 7 K&N races, have a 2nd place finish in that. Done decent in K&N, but hoping for a better finish tonight. So we finished 2nd here last year, and we're a family-owned team, one car. I got my late model crew out here today, and to run with teams like we're running against, it's definitely an honor to be here, and feel good when we come out with a decent finish. I'm Justin Carroll, and I'm your NASCAR Next Gen Profile.
Back to the racing action here as we approach the halfway point in the HoosierDriver.org Twin 100s, race number 2. One of the drivers looking awfully good this afternoon, Derek, is Max McLaughlin.
One of the drivers that we're keeping an eye on is that Mohawk-sponsored number 1 of Max McLaughlin. He's a rookie to the NASCAR K&N Pro Series, and he has just a handful of pavement races under his belt. He's a former dirt modified driver. He's raced big block dirt modifieds before and has actually won a preliminary night at Super Dirt Week. He's the son of Magic Shoes Mike McLaughlin.
And you're right, Derek, winning up at Super Dirt Week up in Oswego, even on a preliminary.
Steel Palace.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. Oh, look at this. Krause going after McLaughlin. And up the inside. Oh, and Max is into the wall.
These cars are pretty durable. We've seen them bounce off the wall a couple times.
Boy, they're trying him out for sure this weekend.
Those composite bodies, you can see he'll just bounce off the wall, the body will bend, and then it just kind of comes back. Which is nice because it doesn't intrude on the tires as much, so it's not totally at risk of a flat.
So you're a fan of the composite body?
Oh, I love them, yes. They're, especially for short track racing. It's great. It's easier for the teams to build. It's cheaper for them to build. You know, anybody can assemble them almost. And like I said, they don't intrude on the tires as much when there's damage.
And I think they're so durable, they look good longer, right? And,
exactly.
The cars look fantastic.
And it evens the playing field. They're not handmade. So, I mean, everybody's kind of have the same pieces to work with. But you still have to assemble them in the right way.
2 laps away from the halfway point here.
The two Gilliland cars are kind of fighting their way through the field. You see a good little race for the lead here.
Yeah, Krause again coming after McLaughlin. And there's more coming. Hang on, there's Nick Sanchez. Derek.
You're watching a great battle for fifth right now between the DGR Cross, the teammates of Tanner Gray and Drew Dollar. Drew Dollar had to go to a backup car because he wrecked his primary car in the first 100-lap race. But he is getting used to these cars. They ran a late model race here about a month ago just so they could get used to the South Boston Speedway.
Yeah, the extra laps here at South Boston are worth their weight for Drew Dollar. That's a very smart move to bring him up here in a late model.
Kyle Benjamin filling in for Sam Mayer in that 21.
He's logging some laps, getting some feedback. He's a few laps down, but you can see that car still has some pretty good speed.
He's got Sanchez behind him in the 2.
Looks like Drew Dollar just finally gave up and moved out of the way for his teammate.
Now we'll see if Tanner can run down the leaders. He's in 6th right now. And here is Krause, who's leading, taking the season opening win on the East Tour down in Florida during Speed Weeks at New Smyrna.
Just stretching a little bit on Max here as the 1 of Cabry starts closing in on McLaughlin. 4 of Cabry.
If this thing stays green, these last few laps, less than 50 to go now, should move down pretty quick. You were saying with race number 1 that within 30 to go is when you really would get up on the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference here is just depends on having the overnight on your car and everything cooling down a little bit. They might be a little bit fresher starting out, but I'm still thinking 20, 30 laps, you could probably push the car. So we're looking at 40 laps to go. If I'm the 1 or the 4 especially, if I'm the 4 who's got some momentum, he's got good speed, he's about to take 2nd, I'm thinking I'm trying to be smooth with my brakes for about 10 or 15 more laps, and then I'm going to start pushing. Because you still have to have a little bit left for a late race restart. Last night we went green all the way until 3 laps to go, and then we had a green-white checkered. You got to have some car left for that green-white checkered.
Oh, look, you can see the front wheels turn on Chase Cabry's Honda Generators Eibach Springs back number 4. We don't seem to see as much brake smoke today as we did yesterday.
And I couldn't tell you why.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you why. The pace is a little bit different. I mean, I would say yesterday Tanner was setting a blistering pace, and he was charging the corner really hard, and he really put it on Sam Mayer to have to chase him down. And that can, you know, the pace and the effort that the leader is putting can definitely affect how the rest of the real field has to race in order to keep up. So definitely you can still see some brake dust on the 1 there. The 4 is putting some smooth laps together, though. I think that his car is just free enough that he's able to roll through the corner without using a ton of brake. I mean, if we the next shot You can see a few car lengths back of Tanner Gray. I think he's still driving his car like he was yesterday. We saw a lot of action out of his car, a lot of brake usage. Some good side-by-side racing here. These two drivers, this is as clean as it gets.
Yeah.
This is good short track racing.
Doing a tremendous job of pushing each other hard, but staying off of each other's
McLaughlin
car.
finally with a mistake.
Yeah, he just got too high, didn't he?
And that's what Cabry was looking for. I mean, and that's a product of racing a guy clean and just putting pressure on him constantly. And Chase didn't have to knock him out of the way. I mean, Max had to give it to him and just lit up.
Max will try to gather back up, get his rhythm down, while the Napa guys are hoping to be career victory number 7 for Derek Krause today. 20 to go here in South Boston. It's taken a while to get here. In fact, 2 days. But Derek Krause leads it. Spencer Davis in the 30 here.
Chase Cabry with a good move to get into second. His last 10 laps for Cabry have been very smooth. You can see his lap times are a little bit quicker than a leader. But he's only got 18 laps to go.
That's in there's car, which Kyle Benjamin is wheeling here today in relief of Sam. Couldn't stick around.
$15 to go. I would say, here we go. Start finding the edge of every little aspect of your car. Try to get that right rear out a little bit more in the middle of the corner. Get the car pointed. Use up a little bit more of the brakes without hurting the car. Maybe buzz the rear tires a little bit more to get as much throttle on exit. Drew Dollar putting in a solid effort in his backup car.
Yeah, he's hoping to put this one back up in the truck complete.
And that really shows how good of a team DGR Crosley is to bring multiple well-prepared cars that can run top 5. I mean, they have a lot of depth at their organization. And a couple good drivers.
Sure do. Here's Justin Carroll, hoping to finish off in the top 10.
And our other relief driver, Colin Garrett.
Yeah. Colin running in 7th.
Ruben Garcia down in Mexico racing for the championship.
Garrett, of course, not in his own car because it was wrecked just before the red flag came out last night.
I've seen that a few times in NASCAR history. A driver can wreck and finish the race in somebody else's car.
10 to go now. Winding this one down. Cars a little more spread out today than they were yesterday.
Yeah, the field is thinned out. We've tore up a couple cars. Had some long runs. These drivers have found their...
Well, and Krause had his first ever race here at South Boston yesterday. So here in race number 2 at this track for him, he might be locking up a victory. Of course, at this point in the day yesterday, we thought Sam Mayer was well on his way to victory.
Yeah, anything can happen. A green-white checkered finish would really just brings anything into play, especially with a guy like Chase Cabry, who's had the speed when he needs it. And Derek has just enough of a lead right now that he needs to continue his pace. His last lap was faster again than Chase's by just about a 10th.
Derek recently finished 18th. The Gander Outdoor Truck Series race over in Martinsville, Virginia. That was back in March. So he tries to move up the NASCAR ladder.
I've gone head-to-head with Derek's dad, Mark, a few times in some super late model races. Good racing family. Especially with a good team like Bill McAnally's.
Potent combination.
2 laps to go.
For Krause, this will be his second win of 2019. Both victories coming in the East, even though he's racing in both championships, East and the West. That 4 still hanging in there. Cabry trying to close in. White flag is out, just one to go here at South Boston. The familiar blue and yellow paint scheme. Napa Auto Parts, Bill McAnally racing entry. Derek Krause to the win here at South Boston.
Chase Cabry, Max McLaughlin. Tanner Gray with a fourth-place run after his penalty early on.
How about that for Gray? A win and a top 5 in the weekend. Pretty solid.
Had to grind that out. Had to earn his win, too. But look at Derek Krause's team. Second win of the season.
He is certainly going to be a championship contender on both the East and the West this year, Derek.
Well, John Camilleri's the crew chief for the number 16 of Derek Krause. You guys go home with the win today. After talking with Derek, they said they were hoping to grab at least one of these wins, if not 2 of them.
Yeah, that was the main goal coming out here, trying to come out here to get the points lead, stay in the points anyways. And it looks like we just did that. Had a little bit of a bad first run. Had a little brake issue, but fixed that and got him back out in the lead where he belongs.
We'll see you in Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you remember yesterday, they had trouble keeping the brakes in the car.
That's right.
Not a problem here this afternoon. Well, he pulls into Victory Lane, and we're going to come back and talk to the winner after this. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Well, clouds still hanging around here in South Boston, Virginia, but we finally do the checkered flag on race number 2 of the HoosierDriver.org Twin 100s. That victory goes to Derek Krause. Waiting for the signal to crawl out, and here he comes, Derek, ready to go.
Well, Derek Krause is going to take a win back to Wisconsin, a race you pretty much dominated. Did you know the car was going to be that good after all the rains falling and washing the rubber off the track?
Yeah, it was definitely gambling on what to do after last night's race. This place tends to tighten up at night, so coming here during the day, it's really hot. We didn't know really what to expect, but my BMR crew got me hooked up for the longer run.
When you passed Max McLaughlin, did you take your time lining him up, because it looked like that you were able to get past him with ease?
Yeah, I knew my spotter, my dad actually spotted for me this race, so it's really special. He kept telling me wait for him to mess up or wait for him to see where I was better than him, and that's what we did. Waited a few laps and got underneath him there, and then we set sail.
Derek Krause and the Bill McAnally Racing Team taking a win back to the West Coast.
Chase Cabry coming over to congratulate him. And there's your results.
Chase has got to be happy about that second-place finish. He had a solid car in both races.
How about Nick Sanchez's game plan ends up with an 8th?
Not so much for him. Drew Dollar with a solid run. Tanner Gray up there in the top 5 as well.
Well, we saw Chase come over to congratulate the winner. Let's hear from him.
Well, Chase Cabry comes home in the second spot here today at the South Boston Speedway and keeps that record of good finishes going, but how bad did you want a caution?
Oh, I wanted it bad. I just wanted 5 more laps. I feel like we were getting really close, maybe 10, but we got really close there towards the end, and everything I was going, I had, and just come up a little bit short. It's disappointing to come home second, but you know you're on the right track when you're disappointed in a second place finish. So big picture-wise, a good day, but definitely want to come out of here on top.
When you come into a race the second day after it rained all night and the track's completely green, how much of the unknowns are out there when you hit the track?
A lot. There's no rubber on the racetrack. It's hot. Completely different than yesterday. It was a guessing game, and my crew chief guessed right. We were really fast there to the last, I'd say, 20 laps. Probably the fastest car on the racetrack, and was able to run down the 16, just come up a little bit short, like I said, and a little bit disappointed, but overall a good day.
Chase Cabry finishes second.
Today, Derek will help him out in the points.
Those 2 podium finishes for Max McLaughlin. He comes home third in both the first and second Twin 100s. And are you getting the hang of these stock cars?
I think so. I think it's starting to click here. We had a really good car again today. We led a handful of laps and thought we would have had something for the win there, but just got a little loose in the front side of that run, and we really found something there later in the run, and about 20-25 to go, we gained a lot of time and just moving around on the racetrack. So wish we would have found that earlier, but that's racing.
How are you feeling? Because we learned that overnight you got pretty sick, but you're able to come back and race today.
Yeah, the flu-like symptoms last night weren't too fun. It was a long night, but luckily we got a little healthier today, feeling a little bit better, good enough to drive the race car. So it was definitely a long night, but all in all, we had a great weekend. 2 third-place finishes. Can't complain about seeing how the start of our season went. So I can't thank HRE, Hattori Racing, Shiggy, everybody for giving me this opportunity. Everybody at the shop working on this thing nonstop, and Mohawk Northeast is back on the car this weekend. They're my dirt sponsor, so happy to have them. Toyota Racing Development, Easy Go, just everybody that makes this happen every week. It's a pleasure to drive.
Well, it's a 3rd place for a 2nd-generation driver. Max McLaughlin comes home with the podium.
Well, the K&N Series is liking how they're doing this double thing, so they're going to try it out in the West, too. Port of Tucson Twin 100s coming your way from Tucson Speedway. You'll see the first one Wednesday, May 22nd, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You like the doubleheaders?
I'll be there for that one in Tucson.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Well, let's go back and hear from Derek once again.
Well, it's a 4th place finish for Tanner Gray, who was mounting a charge near the end, and we asked Chase Cabry, did you want a caution as well?
Yeah, for sure. If we could have got a caution and let everything cool down, I feel like we would at least had a run at it there. I felt like we just got a little bit too tight there towards the end. I felt like, we were just a little hard on stuff riding, there at the beginning of the race. And track position's everything here. So, getting that penalty yesterday at the start of the race definitely hurt us. And, like I said, it's just track position. So I feel like if we could have started up towards the front, we could have had a shot to get another win. But, all in all, it was a good day. And I can't thank everybody from DGR Krause enough. Everybody from Valvoline, the Durst family, and everybody who comes on board and helps make this happen. I can't thank them enough, and we'll go on to the next one and try our best.
When the race gets strung out like that and you get a long green flag lap run, what are some of the things that the crew's telling you to try to learn? Because, you're basically new to the stock car world and trying to learn with each lap you turn.
Yeah, for sure. Like right there, we were trying to move around a little bit and use the apron to, help it turn and whatnot. And I tried some different things, just couldn't really get anything working for me. I mean, we weren't bad by any means, but like I said, we got strung out there and just burned our stuff up trying to get back to the leader there. So, I think all in all it was a really good weekend for us. Got my first win yesterday, and really looking forward to the next race.
Tanner Gray comes home 4th.
The West Series is headed to Tucson. The East is going to Memphis in June.
That's a great short track. I've ran a couple Xfinity Series races in Memphis. I love it. That'll be a good one for this K&N Pro Series.
And then on to legendary Thompson, Connecticut, and Loudon, New Hampshire. And
Newton, Iowa.
Yeah, that's where they come together. Derek will be there. Here's Derek again.
Well, Spencer Davis comes home 5th in the number 30 Rick Jones Racing entry. And how was the race from your seat this afternoon?
Hot. It's the best way to say it. After the rain, it got real hot outside, and I think it hurt us. We just pushed off the front tires. So name of the game today was actually tight. It was weird, all weekend. Anytime you got out in the heat, you fought looseness, just no rear, side bite. But we were tight and just holding on, and salvaged a 5th place finish. Good points day considering the driver trains into 21 and 18 getting wrecked out. So real good points day, still not a win, but we're getting there. We finished 4th and 5th this weekend, so it's really good to make gains here in the JRI Ford Performance 30.
When you have a race like this and it rains the night before and then you come into the race today with a completely different track, how much adjusting do you have to do as yourself as a driver compared to what the crew does onto the race car?
A whole lot, it's unknown, rubber washes away from all the hard rain, and then how they drive the track here with the tractor tires pulling behind the truck gets away the rest of the rubber, so it's really an unknown, so you have to rely on your notes a lot, and driver notes and crew notes for chassis setup. So we went back through our notebooks and tried to do our best. I mean, you just missed it, but I think some people missed it a lot worse than us today, so just happy to be in the top 5 again.
5th place for Spencer Davis, guys.
Pretty good run for Spencer. top 5 in race number 2. Well, Landon, it took us a while to get both these races in, but I think South Boston, the K&N Series, provided the action we expected.
As always, a lot of action. We got a new winner. We got a second-time winner for the season here with Derek Krause.
For Derek Perniciglio and Landon Castle, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Thanks for sticking through the weather with us here, South Boston, where the winner of race number 2 of our Twin 100s is the number 16 of Derek Krause. So long for now.